Hi guys. Okay, we have some important updates for each and every single one of you guys. But before we get started, I'm Jasmine from UBC.
I'm Dre.
And I'm Rachel from DWA. As you guys know, we've been dealing with similar problems in our community. So we've been working together the last couple of weeks because, as you guys know, three brains is better than one. And no, DWA and UBC are not merging. We are two separate courses that are just coming together, collaborating to find solutions.
And as we started doing this affiliate process, we found out a lot of things that we did not know at the beginning. And now we are working tirelessly to literally give you guys the best transition to go affiliate, literally making sure that this is going to work in the community's favor. So we have a couple of things that we want to talk to you guys about so that you guys can understand and you guys are following along with these updates.
As you guys know, we've been super transparent from the very beginning, and we want to continue being transparent as we're going through this journey, figuring this out together. So Dre is going to go ahead and share a little bit more on the new updates.
This affiliate launch has been a lot for us. Okay, we thought we were just going to put a little link in Stan, and it definitely wasn't that easy. It ended up being probably 10 times harder than we expected. We've had so many obstacles and so many things come up, and this is why we're sharing this update, because we do have to make some changes because of all the problems that we're encountering. All right, so I made a little bit of a slideshow just so you guys can see visually what we're talking about and understand why these changes are being made. So one of the biggest issues that we're having right now is with Stripe. You guys probably already know, if you use Stripe, you probably had some issues with them, especially if you've been selling for a little bit longer. So as we pre-launched the affiliate through Stan, you guys know that Stan uses Stripe. And when we got our first sale, oh my God, we were so excited. Okay, so it was a payment plan, $166, and we got 10% of that, which is $16. Right? $16 USD. So we got excited. We're like, we got our first sale. We called each other, and guess how much out of this money we got to keep? $5.61. We were confused. Like, we were looking at this. We called Rachel. Rachel called us and we're like, wait, why is it like that? If you're not into numbers, don't worry. I will give you like a simpler visual example, but I know there's some numbers people on here, right? So our 10% was $16.63. The Stripe fees were around $11 and our profit was $5.61. So the Stripe fees were around 66% of our profit, of our portion. Yes, 66%. You heard that right. So we're literally getting to keep less than half of this money. That means that we actually got to keep only 3.4% of the total. So initially we're thinking, okay, we're going to get around 10%, maybe a little less after the fees, but we actually got to keep 3.4% of the total $500. And I'll explain to you guys why, because we had to do some digging to figure out why. I actually sent this screenshot over to Stan, which is why it was even already highlighted. We were so confused. We were trying to figure out what was going on. I'm going to give you guys one more example of a full payment where we collected $50, 10% of 500. We got $50 and we got to keep 28 Canadian. Okay. So I put everything down in USD here because the Canadian is a little confusing. Again, we got 10%, which is $49.90. The Stripe fees in this case were $30 US, which is 60% of our 49. So again, more than half that Stripe is taking from us. And we're literally like emailing this to Stan, like, what's going on? Like, which means that we're keeping around 3.9% of the total, not 10%, but 3.9%. And we actually looked across like all the sales that we've gotten in the last week, and the average is around 3.6%. So we're keeping around 3.5% instead of 10%, what we originally thought. And now you're probably thinking, why? Like, this doesn't make any sense, which is the same thing that we thought. As you guys know, we've never had an affiliate program before. Me, Jasmine, Rachel, this is our first course that we've ever made. So we thought when we were creating this affiliate program that, we're going to be splitting the money. We get 10%. You guys are going to get 90% of the money. And then we also thought the fees would be split the same way, that we would cover 10% of the fees and you would cover 90% of the Stripe fees, right? If you're getting 90% of the money, we thought you'd cover 90% of the Stripe fees. And if we're getting 10% of the money, we thought we'd cover 10% of the Stripe fees. It turns out that that was not the case. Because in regular MRR, guys, when you're selling the course for $500, you're paying for all of the Stripe fees. So we thought when we're splitting the profit, we're also going to be splitting the costs. It turns out that that was actually not the case. We had absolutely no clue that we would be taking 10% of the money, this small portion of the money, but we would be paying for 100% of the fees. So we're paying for all the fees on the $500, even though we're only keeping 10% of the money. And we didn't know this. Like I said, we've never had an affiliate program. We've asked so many questions before we got launched, and this is a question that we didn't even think to ask.
And now we understand why other courses that went into affiliate are 20% or higher, because they understand how the fees work. We, coming into this, we didn't know.
As you guys know, we have really big plans for UBC and DWA. When we said we were going to go affiliate, we started thinking about all the things that we could finally do with these communities that we couldn't do before because there was just no funding for it. And now we factored in that 10%, but figuring out that we are only getting 3% is just not going to cut it for us to expand and grow UBC and DWA. So that's why we are making you guys aware of this, because we really want to give you guys our all with UBC and DWA in 2025 and take it to the next level, but we just can't do that with 3%.
So in order to cover some of these fees, not even all of them, but some of them, we will be increasing the percentage split that we originally announced. So instead of 10%, we are actually going to be increasing it 5% to cover some of these fees. So it's going to be 15% for the courses and 85% for you guys. Again, we tried to remain competitive to stay below that 20% that majority of the market is doing. And if you look at, traditional affiliate programs, it's actually like 80% that the course creators keep. But we just wanted to increase it a little bit so that we could cover some of those fees. Keep in mind that we are getting around 6.5% fees. So at least that 5% can cover some of those fees. We're still not going to get a full 10%, but that's okay. At least we're getting like a good chunk of the fees covered so that we can do the things that we have planned for these communities. You guys know that our original plan was 10%. That is what we wanted to stick to, but unfortunately we just didn't know. And I know that majority of you guys were so positive about the affiliate change because you know the good things that come from it, and that you guys have a business mindset and understand that this is something that is required in order to really grow and scale these communities. Hindsight is 2020, and we didn't know these things going in. And for this reason, guys, we are still searching for other solutions. So 15% is going to be on stand, but we are searching for more solutions. We literally have been on back-to-back calls. We have 3 calls scheduled tomorrow. We have more calls scheduled next week. We have looked at over 10 different platforms, and we have gotten on calls, I think, with over 6 of them. And we are really diving in deep to see what other non-Stripe solutions we can provide for you guys, because really it's Stripe that's causing a lot of these different fees, because they claim they have one fee, but they have all these additional fees that are layered on top, and it just ends up being a lot more than what they market. We're also noticing that the fees are way higher than they were in like our personal stores, like when we were just selling it as MRR, and it's just very weird. But we are looking for solutions. We have back-to-back calls where we're gonna find other platforms that you guys can choose from. So Stan will be an option for the people that love Stan. We'll also have other platforms as well. So we're hoping that on some of these other platforms we can lower the 15% down, but we don't know yet because we have to have a lot of talks with them. We will give you updates as soon as we have more information. Now some updates that you guys are gonna love, okay? You asked and we delivered. You guys kept commenting beacons, 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 beacons. I was like, is Beacons paying these people to comment beacons? But yes, now that we figured out with Stripe what the fees are, we can actually go ahead and launch with beacons in the next 1 to 2 weeks. We were holding off because we were like, what is going on with these fees? We got to figure this out. And because beacons also uses Stripe as well. So the fees are going to be very similar. So for all the beacons fanatics, beacons will be an additional option. So we'll have Stan and beacons in the next week or 2. Just give us some time to set some stuff up because obviously there's so many changes happening. But we heard you and we're going to do the beacons. All right, next thing is Klarna and Afterpay. This is probably the second most popular thing that we heard. And we did find a workaround for these buy now, pay later services. It is a little bit complex. So when we are ready to launch this, we will have tutorials for you guys on how you can do the workaround for Klarna and Afterpay in your country. There is one other platform that we're talking to right now that did say that Klarna and Afterpay for sure worked. But again, that would only be for the US. So this workaround is going to be available for all of our international members. Next up, for our German community, we have Tentory. Everybody was asking about Tentory in Germany because it is GDPR compliant. If you guys are not in Germany, don't worry about that. But we are currently talking to Tentory and we're hoping to set Tentory up as well in the upcoming weeks. Last but not least, Skool countries. So you guys know that we are planning to launch with Skool affiliate as well, which is supposed to be ready by the end of February. It is not ready now because there's a lot of you guys that are not able to use Stripe or not able to use PayPal. And obviously Beacons and Stan rely heavily on Stripe. So we actually confirmed with the owners of Skool which countries their affiliate program is going to be available in. And it's a big list, y'all. Look at how many countries are on here. Now let me explain this. Skool has its own payment processor, but it uses Stripe to pay it out to your bank. So this is different than like the normal Stripe that we use. So if you're in a country like Serbia, for example, or India, where Stripe is not available in your country, it actually will work for Skool because they're not using it as a processor. They're only using it to send the money to your bank account. So if you're in any of these countries, take a screenshot. There's these ones as well. You will be able to use the Skool affiliate program. So this is really great for some of our international people that aren't allowed to use Stripe.
I know you guys are going to have lots of questions, and as we get our questions answered, we will answer yours. So just bear with us. As you guys can see, we've been transparent. We update you guys. We're doing little videos here and there just so you guys know exactly what's going on. So as we know, we promise that we will let you guys know. And last but not least, I know that you guys have been loving this collaboration of us supporting each other and helping each other through this whole transition of moving into affiliate. So we will be collaborating on something in the near future. So stay tuned because this is something that all of you guys are going to freak out once you find out what it is.
Thank you so much for being patient with us. Honestly, we've been working tirelessly to make sure that this transition is as smooth as possible. We are definitely being tested and our problem-solving skills are definitely showing here. And I just want to let you guys know to just trust us. We hear you guys. We see the questions. We want to make sure that everyone's happy here at the end of the day because we know that this is your business as much as it is ours. You guys have made life-changing income with these courses. So we get it. We hear you. And just know that we are doing everything that we can to iron out all these problems, make sure that everything is smooth for you guys. And it's a win for each and every single one of you guys. Thank you so much for being patient with us and just stay tuned for the next update.
All right, guys, stay tuned. Bye.
Bye.